We're in Albany for Meet the Leaders. It's a very special day. It is the Association of Black and Puerto Rican Legislators. And with me is Senator Gustavo Rivera. It's always good to see you, Senator. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. I got to tell you, it's been a while since I've seen it this crowded. I've been coming to this conference since 2000, so this would be my 19th year. And it's actually reminds me of a couple of years ago when it used to be really crowded. I'm very glad to see New Yorkers of all stripes from all across the state visit us, come here to advocate on behalf of their communities, to talk to us about what's important to them, and just to have camaraderie across the state.
Well, it is very vibrant, there's no question about it. The weather played into your hands beautifully. It's been great to get here, and people are thrilled to be here, and people are really, as you say, very enthusiastic about what's going on.
Absolutely. I mean, a couple of years ago, I remember that it was minus 25 degrees outside. That is not the case now. But listen, more importantly, I think that there's a lot of energy that's happening right now in our state government. There's a recognition, particularly with our new Democratic majority, that there's a lot of things that are possible that weren't possible before. So you've got communities of color and like Latino communities all across the state. These individuals want to come here to talk to us about what's important for them as far as housing, as far as education, as far as taxation, criminal justice, and all these things. So we're going to have a lot of great conversations during this weekend, which will lead potentially to great legislation going a little bit down the hill.
Well, and it all comes down to health care, too. If you're not in a healthy mode, none of these things can happen.
Yes, that is correct. Matter of fact, I am leading two panels on healthcare today to talk about ways in which could potentially provide universal care to people. We've had conversations about this before. We've had conversations about the challenges of the current healthcare system. The fact that even people who are insured at this point sometimes find themselves going broke because they can't afford the care. So there's a lot of things that we need to do at the state level to make sure that every New Yorker, regardless of their wealth, has access to a healthcare system that provides them with good healthcare. So we're going to discuss, there's a lot of challenges here, but that's the reason we're in government, to try to solve problems for people.
How much assistance is needed from the federal government?
Well, there is that. The federal government, sadly, this administration has proven more than a challenge. There's been conversations about ways that they might potentially restructure the money that they give to our states, to different states as it relates to Medicaid, which is a very big impact, could potentially have a very big impact on what we do in the state. There are also all sorts of conversations about ways that they would restrict how we could use that money, when in the state of New York we have been very creative about the ways that we've used Medicaid money to make sure that we can serve everybody with high quality care. So there's a lot of challenges from the federal government, but I believe that bringing together all the energy of our new majority and experts across the state that have been thinking about these issues for a while will potentially lead to better solutions for people.
What solutions are going to make the biggest difference, do you think, to the community that you serve?
I think, well, the biggest proposal, there's a proposal that I carry, which is called the New York Health Act, which will create a single-payer system in the state of New York. Now, this is a very, very tough challenge, but ultimately what we want to do is we want to reshape the way that people think about the healthcare system. The reality is it is a very expensive healthcare system when you add Medicare, Medicaid, the private insurance companies, the stuff that you pay out of your pocket for premiums or out of network costs, etc. So if we take all of that and we actually centralize the system so that regardless of who you are, you will have access to a doctor across the state. It's a way we can actually redesign the system so that we can provide better care for everybody in the state. Now again, it is a very, very big challenge and a proposition that a lot of people are questioning because of what they currently have. But my guess is that if they think about it a little bit, they would realize that even though we're paying so much out of pocket across the entire state, we're not getting the best health care that we can. And the goal here is to create a system that provides that for everybody.
One of the principal concerns, of course, is, as with the Affordable Health Care Act, maintaining your own doctor. And this is something that people are very, very sensitive about.
Certainly. I mean, the fact is, if we create a system that is a single-payer system, it means that every single New Yorker, from somebody in Onondaga to somebody in Queens to somebody in the North Country, would all be covered by one insurance plan. One insurance plan. Therefore, all doctors would have to take it because it is the one insurance plan that covers everybody. Now, again, that is something that is very hard for people to kind of put their heads around. But what we're saying is that by doing that and centralizing everything, by putting the cost, by making sure that we actually lower costs for everybody, because think about this, insurance work. The way that insurance works is that you actually share the risk amongst an entire pool of people. Now, if the pool is the entire population of the U.S., of the United States, I'm sorry, the state of New York, I'm thinking ahead. You see what I'm doing? But for the moment, if we're thinking about the entire population of the state of New York, 20 million people, and we share the risk among everybody. We provide primary care for those who do not have it. We make sure that everybody has access to long-term care, which is something that we added in the bill just now, which you can ask. Go ask people about long-term care costs and the impact that that has on their finances, on their families. That is something that we want to make sure that we take care of.
What kind of cost are we talking about?
Well, we're talking about long-term care, right? We're talking about
how much?
What do you mean?
What's it going to cost?
What's it going to cost? It's going to cost exactly the same as what it costs right now when you add everything up. Now we're talking over $150 billion. But guess what? That money, we are already paying that. When you take Medicare and Medicaid, but then you take the private insurance that you get from your employer, the one that I get from my employer, then we take what people who don't have health insurance and still go to emergency rooms because they are human and they get sick and they need coverage. They need to be able to take care of, like if they break a leg or something. We pay for that all. So when you add all of that up, we are already talking about a system that is over $150 billion.
And this has been, have you proposed this at this point?
Yes, the bill has been reintroduced, and we are in the moment where we're going to be discussing it after the budget. We're going to have public hearings across the state because we want to have people, we want to give people the opportunity to not only tell us their stories, but to be able to discuss the details of the plan, because I want to make sure that everybody is educated about what it is and what it is not. Ultimately, we don't want to have anybody be broke. We want everybody to have access to health care. And again, it is a challenge, but I'm willing to face it.
Well, it's an ideal situation. You've got your work cut out for you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
But you're up to the task.
It's a pleasure to see you.
I want to wish you all the very best, and thanks for stopping by today. This is a great day all the way around. Senator Rivera, he's got great ideas, and maybe there's some that are going to affect you before you know it. We're here for this interesting time up in Albany for Meet the Leaders. I'm David Smith.